Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to show you how to install Tensorboard for the AI Toolkit. The Tensorboard is basically a graphing software that will show you your loss rate and your learning rate as the training progresses. So it can be a very useful tool. Let me go ahead and show you how to install that now. First of all, go into your AI Toolkit folder, and you're going to want to go into this folder called venv for virtual environment. Then go into the scripts folder, and up here in the address bar, you just type cmd, and this will open a command prompt right into this folder here. With this command prompt, you're going to type in activate, and that's going to open the virtual environment. You should see the little venv on the left side there. Now, I want to make a note here that it's important that you type this command in the way I write it, because you may have Python installed globally on your system, and we want to install it inside of the virtual environment and not globally. So what you're actually going to type is python.exe-m. I don't know exactly what this command stands for, but this runs it directly in this folder in this virtual environment. Then we're going to do pip install Tensorboard, and I'll go ahead and let that run. Now your window may look different because I've already have it installed, but it may look like it's installing some stuff here. Now, while you're at this window, one thing I also recommend that you do, if you haven't done it already, is install Triton, because it's just one extra command. So to install Triton, this is a command. It's this python.exe-m pip install triton-windows. Be sure you have the -windows on there if you have the Windows operating system. Otherwise, it'll try and give you an error saying that you don't have the correct operating system, something to that effect. Go ahead and hit enter. And normally you would see it installed, but again, I already have it installed. Once we've done this, you can close out this window. So now let's go back to the root AI Toolkit folder, and let's make a launcher for Tensorboard. You can see I've already got one here, but let's make a new one. I'm going to right click, say new text document, and call this whatever you'd like, something to the effect of launch Tensorboard, or whatever you'd like to call it. The important part is to make sure that the extension is .bat instead of txt. You go ahead and hit enter, and it'll ask if you want to make that change. Just click yes. Now let's go ahead and right click on it and say edit. Now, if you open up the launcher for the toolkit that came with the pre-installation or the auto installer, just go ahead and copy these few lines here where it says activate Python virtual environment, and then call venv scripts activate.bat. You can just copy those right out of there. And I'm going to paste those lines into my Tensorboard launcher. But I'm also going to put this one line at the top here, and that is the @ symbol, echo, space off. And then we need at least one more line in here. And it's going to be this Tensorboard -- log directory, or logdir, equals /run -- host equals localhost space -- port equals 6006. So go ahead and type that in there, and I'll have this all in a text section somewhere that you can just copy it. So keep an eye out for that. And then just go ahead and save this. Make sure to save it before you close it. Now, anytime you want to launch the Tensorboard before you do your training or while you're doing your training, go ahead and click that batch file and start it up before you start your training. You can really start it up at any time, even mid-training if you'd like. Few notes: you need to keep this window open for the Tensorboard to run. As soon as you close this window here, you closed out your Tensorboard. So make sure that this command prompt stays open. And the address you'll want to copy is this one right here, this localhost 6006. Just go ahead and copy that and paste it in whatever browser you're using. And actually, before we paste that file in there, just go ahead and in your AI Toolkit folder, just make a new folder called a run right in there. It should just be an empty folder for now. All right, now let's go ahead and paste that address into our browser. Now, if this is your first time ever running Tensorboard for the AI Toolkit, you'll probably get a window that says something to this effect. No dashboard are active for the current data set. That's perfectly fine. It's just that you don't have any data collected yet. So let's go ahead and set up our AI Toolkit to start collecting data. Also, I want to make note of this little setting up here. If you click the gear, you can set this data up to automatically refresh every 30 seconds. I find that I have to do that every time I open the Tensorboard, but you might want to have that clicked, otherwise the Tensorboard might not update. So let's go ahead and close this out and set up our AI Toolkit to use the Tensorboard now. All right, let's go to the UI folder, go to Source, App, Jobs, and New. And the file we're going to want to edit is this jobConfig.ts, and you can edit with any text editor. Now, one of the first lines you're going to want to add is this log_dir : space single quote dot / run quote comma. Sorry, I know it's a lot of mouthful there, but you want to add that right under the training folder, and that's going to tell the UI Toolkit where to store the Tensorboard information. And then you also need under the under the sample section, it's a little confusing, a little hard to read here, but down here at the end of this sample section, you want to add these 4 lines. So it's logging : open brackets, logging every, and then you can put 2 for every 2 seconds or every 2 epochs or iterations. It's not 2 seconds, sorry, it's every 2 iterations. This use WAN DB is not implemented according to the notes, so don't worry about that, just leave that false. And then I've never set the verbose to true, I've just always left it false. So make sure you have this also, and in fact I said it was 4 lines, but really it's 5. Don't forget this little curly bracket down here to close it off. And go ahead and add this to this file and make sure you save it. And again, I'll have this text posted somewhere where you just copy and paste it. Let's go back to our AI Toolkit and let's actually launch our AI Toolkit. One thing to look for is when you go to Show Advanced, you should see that log directory line. And also if you scroll down, you should see the logging with those few extra lines inside of the advanced window. So go ahead and create your job and then start running it. Just be aware that it might take a few minutes before you start seeing anything logging to your actual Tensorboard. Remembering to have the Tensorboard window open as you do this. And if we go ahead and open up that address, we should see our Tensorboard starting to populate once the process starts running. Now with our process running, we should start seeing the graph populating on our Tensorboard. So don't forget to make sure that the auto refresh is set by going to the little gear there. And then also, if you go to custom scalars and then click on the scalars tab at the top here, you should find the information starting to populate on your graph. You can also go to time series up at the top here, a little more useful, as it adds some ability to zoom in and move around the graph. All right, so here you can see a fully completed Tensorboard. This is for 3,000 iterations. And I found by adjusting the scalar value for smoothing, it tends to help you see kind of an average of what's going on with your values.